company as a presence. The non-executive directors receive no other benefits other than the director and committee fees for the respective boards and committees to which they are appointed. Members of management who are appointed to the subsidiary boards do not receive any remuneration. This proposed increase in fees also covers directors of the company who are appointed to subsidiary boards, as well as 3 independent committee members who sit on the 2 board committees. I now ask that resolution number 5 in the notice of motion to approve the increase in the aggregate fee limit for non-executive directors' fees be moved and seconded, please. May I have a mover of the resolution, please? Thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Thank you. The motion has been formally moved and seconded. If there are any shareholders who wish to speak to the motion, please state your name before addressing the meeting. Thank you. Yes. Microphone.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, fellows. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, fellow shareholders. I would like to request that the increase of 1.5, additional 1.5 million be deferred to the next AGM, because we have because under the guidance of the current executive directors, we have serious issues with the Flex Cube upgrade. I ask as a shareholder that we defer that, because we can only compensate for good progresses that have been made until next year, not now. That they be compensated on the same level for the rest of this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Ige Momomo, representing Teacher Savings and Loan Society. Yeah. So I represent 63,000 ordinary Papua New Guineans. So, Chairman and Company Secretary, just in terms of meeting procedures, some of the shareholders have already voted.
Yes.
So is that going to be like factored in terms of the meeting procedures for voting purposes?
Yes.
Maybe that should have been clarified in the previous. Okay, and just on my specific comments on the motion on the floor, it's probably just a issue of moral and probity obligations for the directors. So for shareholders, we depend on the directors to perform their fiduciary responsibilities. So like my fellow shareholder, I suggest if this motion can be, or this agenda can be tabled in the next AGM, because like right now we haven't had any impact assessment of the issue that the new system upgrade has created. So the shareholders, we invest a lot in this business, and some of us are customers, since PNGBC days until now, BSP. So if the board in its own wisdom can move this agenda item to the next AGM. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank
you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Chairman. I represent the Defense Force Retirement Benefit Fund. From our perspective, we fully support the remuneration as put forward by the board. What we see is that the firm specifics, the health of the bank is very, very healthy. We have a good board in place, and to attract more relevant, more skillful board of directors, to reward them well, we believe that this is something that we should support. And from that perspective, we are fully supportive of this. What's happened with the IT systems, these things to happen in every system that happens in the world. You'll always have something, whether you plan for it, whether you don't plan for it, something is bound to happen. So for that, we fully acknowledge we're not, just like everybody else that suffered consequences, we have also suffered consequences. But we don't believe that just because that happened, it should have an impact on in terms of the rewards, the remuneration that the board should be paid. It's completely something different. We should look at things in respect of the health of the fund, sorry, not the fund, the bank, and the soundness of the bank. The way it's being run over the last 10 years, the last 20 years, it's on a healthy curve, it's on an upward trend, and it's very positive. So on that note, thank you, Chairman, and the board.
Thank you. If I may just address a few of the issues that have been raised. Firstly, as stated in the when introducing the resolution, we put this to an independent consultant remuneration review, which was done by Deloitte, and that was done in August 2022, to go out to market to get a feel, compare BSP with the other banks, comparable banks in the region, and comparative companies of similar banks where financial institutions within Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Oceania region were looked at. And information was collated from publicly available data, including intelligence available to the remuneration experts, and looking at the trends. And what it came back was, compared to comparable institutions, particularly in the Oceania region and particularly Australia, our directors were being remunerated on the low side. And so it was felt that there should be an increase. And just to give a bit of a feel to the work that is usually undertaken by the directors, as an ordinary director, I calculated that I spend around 6 weeks a year. We just don't have our board meetings in Port Moresby. We travel to other places. That's for me, a PNG-based director. But for my international overseas friends, that probably might go up to 8-9 weeks in a year, taken up by BSP. They also sit on other boards. They also have their own lives, their own businesses to run. So, and as I've said, board meetings are not just in Port Moresby. We take our board meetings to other centers. And if you look at the other banks in PNG, I might be wrong here, but I've not seen any of the other banks take their board meetings to the other centers. And we, apart from the meetings, we also go to rural areas. Last time, Mark and I were up in Minsk, Jiwaka, my place, just to host an ATM. So we believe as we spend a lot of time on BSP businesses, and the remuneration benchmarking shows that we are below what the other comparable institutions are paying for directors. That was the reason why it was felt that in accordance or in line with the recommendation that we asked the shareholders for the approval. With respect to FlexCube or the new core banking system, if you look at it, the system has been successfully implemented. In other countries, from what I've told from the experts that have been advising us, after time, 50% of the time, you'll invest a lot of money, and when you go live, it won't work. So you just cancel everything, write it off, and go back to the old system. But for a company, for a bank in the Pacific, in PNG, where things are difficult, particularly getting the right people to come up here to PNG to give the skills, offer the skills, etc., we pulled it off. It is something I believe we should be proud of, that a PNG-based bank pulled off this project. We've successfully implemented the new banking system. There are only teething issues. The branches are operating normal, FTOS is operating normal, ATMs are operating normal. It's just that when it comes to the payments, internet-based payment system, we have some issues there, and we're fixing them. And if you look at from Mark's report this morning, by the end of this month, we hope we will get past all the issues. And so it's a matter for the shareholders. We will put to the vote. Then I believe we should, probably there's another question again.
Chairman, with all due respect, and we really appreciate the effort of the board, the directors, and especially the staff of BSP as well, in like moving forward during these very difficult and challenging times. For us as shareholders, our focus is on the board. And if something fails, in every business, it's the board, the directors, and the CEO, group CEO, or the senior executive managers. So what we are raising here is it's like indirectly questioning the oversight of the board and the executive management in terms of the implementation of this FlexCube. And you've done it for the last 6 years. So our request or some of our shareholders, our request is that for you to consider that. My last question is there any potential class action against the company or the directors or the board?
Not to my knowledge, and I don't think there are any circumstances out there sort of warranting a class action, as I think clearly presented by Mark. The branches are operating normal. It's just a few issues with payments. It's not few issues. It's cost a lot of heartache for a lot of people, but we are getting on top of it. We're admitting it. And as also stated by Mark, Mark and the team will be off to Ley tomorrow morning to face the customers in Ley to explain to them, look, this is what is okay. We are sorry, but these are the fixes. And hopefully, by the end of this month or by June, July, we should be past this. And we have one of the best in terms of banking systems in the world. FlexCube is considered gold standard. So we'll have one of the best banking systems. And we believe it will offer better customer experience. And the comment about saying failing, the system failing or the book failing, as I've stated, not to repeat myself, but the system has not failed. The system has been successfully implemented. Thank you. I think
Good morning. I'm Jimmy Son. I represent the Catholic Bishop Conference. We did a internal consultations, and our sentiment is this poor timing to increase the aggregate fee at this time. Primarily, we are dissatisfied with what happened with your implementation. Me being an ICT professional for more than 40 years, I felt this could have been done better. Yes, it's successful, it's running, but FlexCube Oracle has been doing this for a long time. Perhaps I look forward to the independent review, and perhaps your contractor did a shitty job, and your oversight failed to watch over those small things because it impacts a lot of people. At the moment, ourselves composed of 22 dioceses across Papua New Guinea and Solomon Island, over possibly 1,000 churches, schools, and health centers. We do not know the impact. All we hear is there are a lot of unhappy people at the end of the line not getting something done. And I'm also appreciative of your team. They're doing a great job addressing it with us. They've been on the dot for it, but it's still there. That's our sentiment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think all I can say is once we get the independent audit done at the end, when the system is all stable, then lessons learned, and of course we can have the conversation. Thank you. Any other questions? Otherwise, the motion has been formally moved and seconded. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Professor? Yeah. Oh. Or Florence or Professor, whichever. Yes.
Ladies first. Florence Willie from the Employers Federation. I represent private sector companies. We do not support an increase right now. Firstly, the optics in relation to FlexCube and its rollout. And for many companies on record who use your Kundu Pay system have been very, very unhappy. And so from that basis, we will not support an increase right now. We support the call made earlier. This increase should be deferred and considered at the next AGM. We thank the directors for your hard work and effort, and your BSP management team. You continue to do very well, but we'd like to see improvement in some of the existing areas. And the most popular complaint all the time is your lines at the outlets. So CEO, that's a call for you. Can we have some improvement in that area? So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Florence. Professor.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. David Konamuk, KCH. You're all shareholders of Kumul Consolidated Holdings. We've already voted. It's in the affirmative. But I'd like to just make some points in relation to the duties and responsibilities of directors. terms of your fiduciary responsibilities and statutory compliance and the annual report that's out. There are a few things in the annual report in relation to loans to other banks. In terms of the BSP bank, the recording itself and the consolidated recording on page, forgot what it is, page 30 or so. But this is, you've been working on this for the last 5 years. Fully commend the directors for a great effort because of the state of sophistication of technology in the country. So it's taken that long. Fully appreciate the commitment that you made. But if you can also just take into account a few points around cost to capital, management expense ratio, if you can work hard to bring those costs down so that shareholders can see increased benefits. But otherwise, total commendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mark and the team are here taking note. Any other? If not, if I can formally put a motion that there be an increase in the aggregate fee limit for non-executive directors. And if I can ask, all those in favor, please indicate by a show of hands. All those against? I believe from looking around, the motion is carried. So thank you very much. I think that brings us to the end of the formal part of the meeting. The next session will be questions and answers. And oh yes, it's because the last page wasn't given to me, so that's why I'm looking quickly to. Can I have the last? There you go. You see, so. Thank you. The last item is the appointment of PricewaterhouseCoopers as auditor of the company. From the conclusion of this meeting until the conclusion of the next annual general meeting of the company. There's supposed to be, Mary, the script. I just have the resolutions. Do you have the script there? Yeah, thank you. A bit of introduction so that to the motion or to the resolution. In 2022, the company went to tender following which the board, upon the recommendation of the board audit and compliance committee, appointed PricewaterhouseCoopers to be the company's auditor for the next 3 years, subject to shareholder approval at this meeting. The board proposes that PricewaterhouseCoopers be appointed auditors of the company from the conclusion of this meeting until the conclusion of the next annual general meeting of the company, and that the board be authorized to fix their remuneration. Could I ask that the resolution number 6 in the notice of meeting to appoint PricewaterhouseCoopers as auditors for 2022 be moved and seconded, please? May I have a mover for the resolution, please? Thank you. May I have a seconder, please? Thank you. The motion has been formally moved and seconded. If there are any shareholders who wish to speak to the motion, please state your name before addressing the meeting. Thank you. If there are no questions, I'll formally put the motion that PricewaterhouseCoopers be appointed as auditors of the company for 2023, and that the board be authorized to fix their remuneration. All those in favor, please indicate by a show of hands. Thank you. Those against? Thank you. I declare that the motion is carried. As there are no other items of business of which due notice has been given to shareholders, this concludes the business of the annual general meeting this morning. On behalf of the board, I would like to thank you for your support, and I now declare the meeting closed. The results of the meeting will be announced to the ASX and PNGX later today. Once again, I thank you for your attendance and participation in this meeting. If you have any questions, the board and management will be available after this to answer them. Thank you and God bless you all. Thank you.